Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 9 at Arlington on Million Saturday is the Grade 3 Pucker Up Stakes. 3-year-old fillies going 1 1/8 miles. Let's take a look at this full field. The number 9 is Winter Sunset. Mike, regally bred daughter of Tappet. I was horribly disappointed by her effort in the Regret Stakes last time out. There was no pace whatsoever. She had dead aim on the winner in the stretch. She did not go by. Then she was going to run, I believe, at Saratoga, and she was withdrawn from that race. Listen, she beat a good horse last time out in Varenka, but Varenka was up against the pace in the Regret. Varenka came back to win in 86. Obviously, Winter Sunset is talented enough to win the Pucker Up. I just don't want to take a short price on her.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, she's talented enough to win. She's got the right kind of tactical speed to get the good trip in this race. There are ways to look at her and feel like she's a major contender here, but I kind of agree with you. I thought she ran fine last time, but I didn't see the excuse for her, and I'm not so sure this race couldn't be a little tougher for her.
The 11 is Cafe Americano, trained by Chad Brown, winner of her first 2 starts. Then they ran her in the Belmont Oaks. It was just a tough spot, and you got the feeling that Chad wanted to run her because he felt she would appreciate the 1.25 miles. Listen, Concrete Rose just ran away and hid and is now the leader of the division. She came back to win the Saratoga Oaks with a 92 Beyer speed figure. Down in class, this is still an appropriate distance. This is a very logical horse, despite a fairly tough outside post position.
Yeah, the distance feels like it's what he really wants for her, and the 1.8 miles should be fine for her. I won't hold the Belmont Oaks against her, but she is a filly who's got to continue to improve, and she's going to be a short price in this race. I don't think I'd go too short on her.
Timeform pace projectors got the 4. Indigo Gin out there on the early lead for trainer Owen Hardy. This filly's gotten good in her last 2 races. Pace pressing wins at Arlington Park. I'm not worried about her stretching out to 1.8 miles with this kind of pedigree, but I just thought Flavien Prat gave her a great ride last time out. She was a little bit eager, she was pulling. Flavien said go on with it. Ended up making the lead, back down the fractions, very game in the stretch to turn back a couple of other horses. I think she needs to improve a bit, but she might get another good trip.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, did she win last time, or did Winning Envelope not win that time? Because that horse just got right by her in the stretch, like she was going to take the race over, and she just couldn't finish it. And Indigo Gin battled back on the inside. I'm taking nothing away from her. I like her tactical speed, but I think she's going to have to run better than that to beat this field.
What was the deal with Winning Envelope? She had that race in the bag. She was the favorite. She was supposed to win. Was that little layoff maybe something that stopped her in the stretch? Because it was disappointing. I wonder if she's plateaued as a high 70s Beyer horse.
I wonder too. I mean, I don't want to look at her that way because I'm a fan of hers and I think she's pretty good, but she didn't have any excuse at all last time. Took that race over in the stretch like she was going to go on with it, and just for whatever reason didn't finish it off. She's got to find a way to finish it off.
Long shot Sky Freak expected to be the one to pressure Indigo Gin early. The problem is Indigo Gin handled her quite nicely 2 starts back on the turf. Her races on synthetic just seem to be better.
Yeah, she looks better on synthetic. I mean, her turf race so far doesn't even make her remotely competitive in here.
Lights, Camera, Action expected to sit a good trip, sitting in 3rd. This horse got the job done last time out for Chris Block in a non-winners of 1 other than race. I just didn't think she beat a strong field.
I didn't either. She's going to have to do better than that in this spot. But you know what? She was an okay horse last year as a 2-year-old, and so she still has some upside. She could do better in this race.
Let's talk about the 2 Aunt Hattie. Wanted to make a little bit of a case for Aunt Hattie. Old Bill Mott horse now with Merrill Scherer. First start for the New Connections came at Indiana Grand last time out. Not a lot of pace on tap. Basically 3 wide tracking throughout. Had a big shot at it in the stretch, but the favorite ran her down late.
Yeah, I thought she ran okay last time. Maybe she could take a step forward in here, Dan, but I'm starting to feel like she's not going to turn out to really be a graded stakes horse.
Wanted to make a case for Gamblin' Train, the 6 at a big price. I thought she had a good win 2 starts back at Churchill Downs. And last time out in the Regret, we talked about how there was no pace going on, or at least the pace held on. Gamblin' Train was last and then came about 20 paths wide in the stretch. She had no chance the way that trip worked out. I think she can do a little better here at a big price.
I agree. I mean, obviously, with her running style, she's going to need some pace, and she's going to need a trip, but she did not get one last time. That race is not as bad as it looks.
I think it's fair to say that Comic Kitten, the 7's been a little bit of a disappointment. Beaten favorite 2 starts back, just really didn't do any running that day. Last time out, they shipped her up to Saratoga. She caught the aforementioned Varenka. Really didn't do any running that day. I respect Michael Maker. I love that Johnny V takes the mount, but she has got to run a career best, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. I mean, listen, that was a good allowance field last time. The 1-2 finishers of that race are both really good, and either one of them could have contended in this race, but this filly was nowhere in that spot.
Princessa Carolina can win this race because she has tactical speed. She showed that 3 starts back when getting away to an easy early lead at Keeneland and then beating Comet Kitten as the odds-on favorite. She had a tough outside post position in the Regret. I think that worked against her, as well as the lack of pace. Last time out in the Hot Tooth, she had her chances to go by Indigo Gin. It didn't work out for her. I think there's a little bit of improvement left. She fits this race, I think, like a glove. She shouldn't be 8-1.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like she's a bigger contender than the morning line odds might make her. There are races that she's run that could make her really, really tough in here, Dan, and she should get a good trip in here. I'm going to use this horse.
We're going to now take a look at our top selections for the Pucker Up Stakes on Arlington Million Saturday. Mike, you're going to the outside. Tell us a little bit about Mercilla, winner of her first 2 starts. The last race is just a throw-out. I think the only reason Motion even ran her was just as a bridge to get to this one.
Yeah, it seems like that. I obviously won't hold that against her. I really liked her debut at the end of last year. I thought she ran really well first time out. Her win at Pimlico, listen, it wasn't a great field, but they did not go a fast pace in that race. She was last early. The horse that wound up finishing second was on a clear lead the entire way, and this horse came and ran her down. I really liked that performance from her, Dan. I don't love post 12 for her, but I think she stacks up really well against this field.
Great Canadian-based horseman Roger Atfield sends down the 10 Art of Almost, whose both lifetime wins have come on a synthetic surface. She needed to prove last time out that she could run on the turf. I think she did. She ran to some tough older horses, Holy Helena, Starship Jubilee. She really never threatened them for the win, but she ran really, really well, and I think she has enough tactical speed to work out a good trip. Reunited with Alan Garcia, who's been aboard for both of her victories. I like Art of Almost. Your thoughts on her? Well, what about that last race against Older?
I thought she ran really well in that race too, and it was nice to see her show that she could run her best race on turf too. I was very encouraged by it. I think she's a huge player in here, and I put her in my mix too. I went 12, 10, 11, and 5.
I went 10, 9, 4, and 8 in the Grade 3 Pucker Up Stakes at Arlington on Saturday. It's race number 12. It has an approximate post time of 6:55 Central. Best of luck.